I've decided that I'm going to tell you guys like some things that I've learned over my baking journey. One thing I've learned that I hate is shortening. I hate using shortening. I have this massive thing of shortening because it was the smallest one I could find at the store. Hawaii, I guess. And it's just a pain to work with because it doesn't, like, it comes out in like this big glob, so it's really difficult to measure it. And it doesn't like to pack in, and then it's a pain to get it out of the measuring cup and into the thing. So I just really hate working with shortening. I will probably never buy it again after I finish off this massive tub, which is probably going to take me a while because there are only so many recipes that call for shortening. But something that I've learned that I like is doing this. And there are probably people watching this video that are telling me that I am just absolutely ridiculous and lazy and something, all these different things, I don't know, for putting my eggs into, and wasteful maybe, for putting my eggs into a measuring cup before like, just instead of just cracking them into the bowl. But what I've found is that it makes it a little bit easier for me as far as like filming goes, because then I don't have to wash my hands in the middle of the video. And it also makes it easier if you have to add things one at a time, because I'm using a hand mixer, and so if I have to add an egg one at a time, so that, like, set down the mixer, add an egg, wash my hands because I don't want to get anything on the mixer, and then come over here, mix, and then set it down, clean off the beaters again so it doesn't fall over, break another egg, wash my hands again. It's just like a whole process, and so I found that it's a little bit easier just go crack them into a measuring cup and just pour them right in. And also I was able, since I was setting out all the ingredients beforehand, I was able to just go ahead and put the eggs in there and pour in my vanilla as well. So that's all set and ready to go, and I don't have to worry about like accidentally knocking the vanilla over, which I have definitely done before. Ended up with like a teaspoon of vanilla just all over the counter, and that's not fun either, and then everything smells like alcohol and it's just not a good time. But yeah, so I picked a bowl that's way too big for this, and I can never remember how big this recipe is going to be, but it's okay because at least we won't have overflowing things. So something else that I have learned that I really like, having the 80s hair while baking, I'm learning, is a bit tricky. But something else that I've really learned that I don't like is I love my canisters, okay? My canisters have been through it with me. They have weathered the storm of many ant invasions. They keep them out, which is awesome. But, stop. Maybe I should just move that. I keep getting stuff in the beater on my hand. Which doesn't bother me, but, you know. Anyway, the issue is that my canisters aren't that big. So my biggest one only holds, I think, like 6 cups. So when you're using, when you've got several recipes that call for like somewhere between a cup and two, like 1 to 2 cups of sugar, it's like at most that's 6 recipes, and more likely it's just going to be like 3 or 4. So I end up, they're not very big, so even though they're really nice, if I'm going to be baking this much, I'm probably going to need bigger ones. But also, they're really hard to measure out of because they don't like pour well, but like they're also too narrow to like get a scoop in. So especially if I'm measuring with anything over like half a cup, it's not going to fit in the canister. So like if I need 2/3 cup, which I rarely use, or like a cup of something, like today I needed a cup of sugar and a cup of brown sugar, it doesn't fit inside the canister very well, so it's just a pain. Yeah, I don't think I necessarily, what I've learned that I like though is this guy. This has been my best friend. I got some new silicone spatulas because one was not enough, and they're just inferior. They're just not as good, I think, because this one's like a little bit stiffer, and it also has like the wood handle, so it like just, it's a little more robust, I guess, but they're better. This is a lot more vloggy than usual. I'm very sorry about that. I don't have a lot to say, and I'm like stuck, you know, I'm stuck at home, so like it's not like anything exciting is happening in my life. But okay, flour, let's go. Okay, we are getting there. Now all we need to do is the oats. and then we'll be done. They're not really like oat. She calls them like oatmeal cookies, but they're not really oatmeal cookies because like you blend the oats, like you don't fold them in or anything to keep them intact. So it's really just like they're like an oat-based cookie, kind of, but there's also flour in here. It's a very confusing situation, but they're really good. I like them a lot. They're a little bit more complicated to make than got dough flying everywhere. Than just like regular like Toll House chocolate chip cookies, but that the widely accepted, most popular recipe for chocolate chip cookies. But at the same time, they're really good, and like I said, Alex loves them. And like it's been a minute since I've had just like straight chocolate chip cookies, so I don't know if I like them better. But I feel like I would feel kind of wrong putting butterscotch chips and like a regular chocolate chip cookie recipe. Luckily that was not the disposal side, so I'll get to keep that. But this one, I don't feel bad about it. So, and they're really, really good. And I'm also extremely glad that Alex likes butterscotch, because I know it's like one of those highly contested flavors. So when I made these for Feed the Homeless, the first time I made the brownies, I made these as well. So that was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my baking life, because I'm getting oats all over the counter right now. You can't really see what's going on here, but I am just spilling oats everywhere. Anyway, I made the brownies for Feed the Homeless, and this is good. This is great. Okay, so I made the call too early. This is still a catastrophe in and of itself, just measuring out the oats. And I was like, I don't need to measure out the oats at the end. That'll just give me another bowl, and they aren't that difficult to measure. What have I done? I'll show you the mess that I made. I hope that wasn't too much. I think it's too much oats. But yeah, I made these cookies, which I had made before. And I took those over to the Dumbarton's house when we had some sort of get together at some point. I think it was 4th of July. But then I made the brownies to go with them. I'd never made these brownies before, and they're kind of finicky. They turn out fine, but like you have to do like the specific instructions. Like you have to whisk like a specific combination of ingredients. You have to like vigorously whisk for a minute, which is a struggle, I found out. And then like there are other things that you have to do. Like you have to bake them in like a specific, like a 325 degree oven for like 30 minutes, and then switch them over to a 350 degree oven for like 5 minutes. And I missed the timer because I was doing work in the living room, and I knew it was going to happen because I was listening to music, and I was like, I need to set a timer on my phone, and I didn't. So I was really concerned about them, so I hope they turned out for them. When I made them myself, they were good, but like I'd never made them before, and I couldn't really taste them because I was sending them off to somewhere else, and brownies only made like it was an 8x8 pan, so it wasn't really big. So that was really scary because I was like, I don't know if these are good. They smell great. They weren't burned or anything, but I was like, I don't know if those are any good. I also didn't line that pan with parchment paper, which makes them a little easier to get out, but also I think even if I had, they probably would have just cut them in the pan. And because it was a pretty well greased tin pan anyway, I think it probably was fine. But yeah, that is the story of the scary brownies. And and I'll show you this before I go to mixing, but yay! Oats all over the counter. There are a few on the floor. I mostly avoided the floor, but this is how this goes.